Hello and welcome to the stream today. I hope you're ready to learn some Korean. That's what we're going to be doing today, right at 2 o'clock. So here right now it is 1:45. So we still have about 15 minutes left before the stream starts. So feel free to ask any questions you might have before the class gets started. Just going to check, see who's here already. See, we got, who's the first member in here? Yeah, we do have a few members in here. How come I don't see them on my... I see the colors different on my screen then. Okay. Welcome to Jackie. Let's see, who else is here? Welcome to our moderator, Secretive33. You should put on a sweater. No, you see, I've been out here for a while. I've actually been out here all day now, getting ready for this class. And you know, when you're just kind of standing in the snow for so long, you just get used to it. So I'm not really that cold right now. But yeah, anyway, before the lesson starts, you can check over the prerequisites for today's class. And these are the things you really want to know before we start the lesson. The main one I would say is the past and future tense. You need to be able to make sentences that end in the past tense or end in the future tense. For example, I like cheese. Present tense, good. But you also want to be able to make sentences like, I went to the cheese store, or I liked cheese in the past, or I will go to the cheese store. Things like that, past and future tense. These will be essential in order to use this form we're going to be doing today. And of course, also emotions. Now, things like just saying, I am sad, I am happy, 감사합니다, 고맙습니다. These are also emotions, actually. Like, nice to meet you, thank you. These are emotions. I'm sorry, 미안합니다, 죄송합니다. These are emotions. You want to be familiar with these sorts of things as well in order to do the lesson. Bonus if you're also familiar with honorifics, because we're going to be talking about that as well for today's lesson. There's actually a lot of stuff we're going to be talking about today. This lesson is way bigger than I expected it to be. Despite being a very basic grammar form, there are a lot of things we're going to be talking about today. So I'm just kind of giving you a heads up on some things we'll be doing, how to say like, thank you for doing something, or I'm sorry that I did something. Very common expressions you'll use every day, and they need this grammar form in order to work. Also, finally, if you know the unika form, which we did last week, what am I trying to say? I was trying to say that's a bonus and that's a good thing at the same time. And it came out as that's a hold on, I see a donation. 1 second. Because last week we covered unika, and this week we're going to be covering sol today. And these forms are often confused, but they shouldn't be. They're quite different. Although they can both mean because, there are situations where you have to use one or the other. So if you're familiar with that, you'll also get even more out of today's lesson. Okay, now let's check the donation. Who do we have? Sophia, Amanda Sophia. Yay, another class from Professor Go. Well, I appreciate you being here, Sophia. Thank you. Should I do a donation goal? I never really have any goals. I always just say, thanks for whatever you can contribute, but no donations required for my stream. Should I have like a goal, like something I want to buy? I don't really know if it helps, because honestly, if I need a piece of equipment for streaming, I just buy it. I just bite the bullet and buy it. Like, this week you won't notice, but next Sunday when I have a live stream, I'm going to have better lighting, because actually I ordered, for my first time, I ordered a new light. I almost said lights. I haven't bought two yet. I'm buying one and I'll buy another one soon. Like a $800 light. So we'll have a little bit better lighting in here, as well as for my filming starting from next week. Yeah, I don't know if I should do like donation goals or anything. Maybe that like helps get more donations. I don't know. But anyway, thank you again, Sophia. Let's check to see who else is here. Celeste, 안녕하세요. Welcome, Celeste. As well as I see Sylvia Cullen. Here it is 7:47 a.m. Where is it? Where is 7:47 a.m. right now? That's not Korea, is it? No, Korea right now is, what time is it in Korea? 6, yeah, I thought 6 is like still 6. So where would you be where it's an hour later? I don't know. Where are you from, Sylvia? 100,000 goal. My goodness. I'll put up a $100,000 donation goal, which I'm planning to hit by the year 3023. Yeah, so I'm not sure what a donation goal would be, because I don't want people to think that they have to pay me money to do these live streams. So I don't know. I'll think about it. Zomi, how did you know? Yeah, I got the Mark II. I'm going to get a second one too. But I'm getting one to see how it fits in my room, and I might or might not do a second, depending on the size of the light dome. It might be too big for two of them, so we'll see. But yeah. Sue, wow, lighting is expensive. And that's nothing. See, I should do a studio tour someday. I'll show you all of the stuff I have in this studio. Some of it I built myself. Some of it I got, really cheap, and I have a bunch of sound panels in here. So the sound's really nice. I built them myself out of wood before the price of wood became more expensive than buying tons of textbooks and stuff. But yes, my most expensive things that I use in my studio are actually my lights, I would say. After that would be my audio, then my lenses, and then my camera. It's kind of like that. So, oh no, actually my tripod would be more expensive than my camera, actually. And it's all from your donations. So when people give me sometimes I've gotten $100 donations or whatever, that goes straight into equipment. Yeah. Sylvia, you say Hoju. Okay, I was going to guess maybe New Zealand or somewhere around there, but I guess Australia makes sense. Zomi, because those are in that range are good. Yeah, that's true. They are the cheapest in that range that are still good. Tracy Rhodes, what do you do for a living? Oh yeah, right now is Q&A time. We haven't started the lesson. We're going to start at 2:00. What do I do for a living? This is what I do. I teach Korean. Obviously, my living is not live streaming. I would not have very much to live on, frankly. But the YouTube channel combined with books, everything that I do together for this channel is what I'm living on. Chocolate Banana. I appreciate your effort and how you pay a lot for best quality video. Thank you. It's also my hobby, so I admit it is I do put all of my free money into this, but at the same time, I also enjoy it. I also like having better equipment. I want to improve the quality of my streams. Oh, if you want something fun to do, go back to 2018 when I first started doing these live streams and watch the very first live stream, and then go a year ahead to 2019 and then 2020 and then now to 2021. Look at the image quality and look at the listen to the sound quality and everything. You'll see it's gotten way better even each year. You'll be like, oh, I see 2019 he started using a webcam. Oh, 2020 I see he actually got some lights and a green screen. You'll see these upgrades, and oh, I can now hear him clearly because I got a new microphone last year. So yeah. Okay, yeah, I'll put up the goal. Like I said, I want to make this very clear. I do not expect anything from you viewers. This live stream is something I do completely for my fun. It's fun for me, completely for free. So I just want it to be you just come here to learn, or if you're not here, you can watch the abridged. So most people actually who watch this don't even watch this live. They actually just wait for the abridged, watch the abridged. I'm totally fine with that. I'm going to move your name down here, Sophia. So I get to write your name twice. So it's better that way. I'll write your name a little bit larger. 10, there we go. I'm going to have this little donation goal here. I'll fill it in a little bit. And the goal is, let's see, how much is the next light I'm going to get? I'm going to get another one of the same light I got. And my order was $750. So I'm going to put that as my goal, and I'll update it. Not just today, but I'll update that over the next few weeks or months as we're doing live streams. Okay. Although I got two of them. I'm just going to put one because I already bought that. That was my fault. Let's see. Everyone's still coming in. So welcome. We'll get started just at 2. There's still 6 minutes left. Oh yeah. If you are a Patreon member, to make sure to pick up your worksheet for today's live stream. It's already up. The outline, which I'm holding right here in my hands, this will also be up on Patreon as soon as this live stream is over, usually about 30 minutes after it's ended. If you are a member, you also get access to abridged versions of all of these live streams the very night that they finish. So after this live stream's over, if you go on my channel about 3-4 hours later, you can watch this full video, edited, usually about 15 minutes. Edited it. I just realized edited is a very difficult word to say if you're not a native English speaker. So specifically how to say they edited it. They edited it. I think that would be hard for someone to say if they're not a native English speaker. Like for me, it's like, oh yeah, they edited it. Like it flows off my tongue, but I think that would be hard to say. I don't know. If you're not an English speaker, let me know if that's hard to say or not. Maybe it's just me. I think it would be difficult to say. Jackie, you explain things in ways people can understand with enthusiasm. Well, it's because I like it. I like Korean, okay? I'm weird like that. So good equipment is a plus, but I'm here for your great lessons. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Zomi, when you stream from the YouTube, yeah, I remember those days. I still have to stream from the YouTube app when I'm in Korea, but it's usually been okay. It's usually been okay when I'm over there. But I remember I used to do like full 2.5 hour, 3 hour long live streams teaching lessons when I streamed from the YouTube app. And I had to use the, I actually, I don't know if you remember this, but I had to use a mirror. If anyone watched the early ones, I had this, you know, like a mirror that you hang on your door, like a really big mirror. I had to put a mirror on top of a chair and angle it. You know, hopefully it wouldn't fall over and smash, but angle it. That way I could see behind the phone, so I could see your comments and I could see if it was still working, because I couldn't film with the front camera. It was too low resolution and it was mirrored. The image was mirrored. So it was all messed up. So every day I did a live stream, I set the camera on like top of a table. No, and then I had the mirror on top of a chair, and I was like, every few seconds I would look to make sure I'm still streaming. Oh, that was horrible. Didn't you think about doing giveaways for your members? Maybe like winning a speaking practice with you. The thing is, I actually do those for free. If you come in my Discord, I still check out people speaking and grade them and stuff. I do that for free. So, I mean, in case you didn't know, the Discord actually is quite active. I'm there most of the time. Okay, let's see. Baby Louie says, are these live streams saved? Yes, all of them are saved from the very beginning. Every live stream I've ever done is still up on my channel. You can watch it, as well as every abridged version. You can find all of them in the Google Doc, which I will paste into the chat. There we go. Now it's in the chat. Okay, so that is all of the announcements I have to make. So let's get started. Wait, no, we still have another minute left. It's still 58. Okay, we still have another minute left. Quick question. Hurry, give me another question before we start our lesson today. Chocolate Banana, I actually made a video about 힘들다 and 어렵다. It's in my Korean FAQ series. Check that out. I uploaded it just last month, I believe. Okay. Zomi says, you've definitely come a long way. Thank you. Yes, I agree. I still have a long ways to go. This year I'm going to be upgrading not only my camera for the first time since 2018, but I'm also going to be upgrading my audio for my regular videos, but no one's going to really notice a difference for that stuff though. So it's just stuff I have to do. I also might upgrade. I'm also going to be upgrading my storage someday. I should do that. Another thing no one would ever notice, but I should do that too. What's your goal for this year? TB Iteri says, what's your goal for this year? My goal for this year, well, hopefully it'll be soon. I want to hit 500,000 subscribers. That should be pretty soon, maybe another month or two. I would really like to hit 6,000. I mean, 6,000. No, 600,000 before the year's over. That would be nice too. I have some ideas for new videos. I have a new series coming up that I just started working on as of a week ago. And if you're in the Discord, you can actually you'll see updates about that. I'll be posting them in the members channel. Okay, it is 2:00, so let's get started with our lesson. We have a lot of stuff to cover today. Really. Hold on, I need some blue juice before we start. Tastes like a melted icy. It's not bad. Okay. I hope you already know how to conjugate verbs, because we don't have time to cover that again in this lesson. The form we're going to be learning about today in detail is 서. Now, in order to make it, it's very simple if you already know how to conjugate verbs. You take a verb stem and you attach a, ol, like usual, and then attach 서. So the verb 하다 just becomes, actually I'll write this a little bit nicer, 해서. The verb 먹다, to eat, conjugates as 먹어서. This is all that you ever have to do. You don't have to ever use this with future tense or past tense. Like the nika stem, which we learned last week, that one you could use past tense or future tense stem, and we talked about that. This one is done. Once you've gotten this, you're done. You don't have to use any other tenses. It should never conjugate in any other way than this. Conjugate the verb, attach 서. You're done. Doesn't matter what tense. It doesn't matter what tense the sentence is. As I think The Rock would say. This is it. However, there is something you should know about the verb ida. The verb ida, to be. How does ida conjugate when it uses this? Well, it actually conjugates as 이, 라, 서. You might find another way this conjugates. Actually, let me write this up here so I have more space. I don't like writing at the bottom. Okay. The verb ida can conjugate as 이, 라, 서. That's 이, 라, 서 after a consonant, or just 라, 서 after a vowel, as usual. Optionally, you also might find it conjugated this way. 이, 어, 서. Or, after a vowel, you might also see it shortened to just 여, 서. So there are four, I guess, you might see ida conjugated with the 서 form. The main one is 이라서. So if we're saying like 학교, school ends with a vowel. 학교라서. 집, house. 집, house ends in a consonant. 집이라서. Or alternatively, 학교여서 or 집이어서. That's all you have to do. So just write that down. What's the difference? This one has a slightly friendlier feel. So this one tends to get used more often in conversation, but neither of them is casual or more formal per se. I don't know, if I have to really be picky, this one is a little bit more formal, but they're both acceptable. This one just has a bit of a more friendlier feel to it. So this one tends to get used more often, but be aware you might see this one too. So I recommend this one. Okay, I'm going to leave this up on the board for a second. Hangul Hamster says hi. Is there a Hangul Hamster? I don't know what that means. Okay, let's see. Starboy says, I want to impress my Korean girlfriend by being good at Korean language. That would impress me. If I was your Korean girlfriend, I would be very impressed if you spoke Korean. First Korean tongue twister for me was 헷갈렸어요. It's not a tongue twister, it's a regular word, but I can understand that would be difficult to say. Yeah, if I was a beginner, 헷갈렸어. I would have trouble with that too. Yeah, 헷갈렸어요. 헷갈렸어. any of those. There are lots of things that are kind of tricky to pronounce when you're first learning, like in Korean, because we don't really have those types of combinations in English. But yeah, it won't be a tongue twister to you later, I promise. Okay. I'm just checking. So that's all there is to conjugating. So what does the whole form mean? Well, the whole form shows this. This is the main usage, the main feeling, the main purpose of using the whole form is that it shows a cause and an effect. By that I mean something directly causes something to happen, and that's the effect. That's what happens. So this is actually important to keep in mind because this will help you distinguish when you want to use so or when you want to use nika, when you want to say because. So means there is a cause of something and an effect. Just like in English, we express cause and effect. That is what the whole form does. Really, something causes something else to happen. You're not simply saying this is the reason for something. Like you're not just saying because, something like that. Because has lots of different uses in English, but in Korean, the nika form and the whole form are slightly different because the whole form has that cause and effect feeling. Something directly caused something else to happen. So if we translate this, we can translate this form as either because or so, just like the nika form we did last week. So if we have this example, A, so, B. What this actually means is not just B because of A, not loosely like that, but more like A caused or causes B to happen. So if you have A, so, B, you have that meaning of A causes or caused B to happen. Not just B is because of A, vaguely, but no, A actually causes B to happen. It's A's fault. Kind of like that. Doesn't necessarily mean in a negative way. Just A directly is the cause of B. So A is the cause and B is the effect. What happened because of A? That's what this form means. That's what this form emphasizes that nika does not. Okay. Hangul Hamster is my Facebook page. Okay. I haven't seen it before. Welcome. 피곤해서 잘 거예요. Okay. You could say something like that. Yeah. The reason I'm emphasizing this is because there are so many sentences where you can actually use either there are so many sentences where you can use either the whole form or the nika form, and they both mean because. And I get lots of questions where people ask me, Billy, when should I use the whole form and when should I use the nika form in this sentence? A lot of times, both of them work. You can say blah, blah, blah because of something, and you can use either the whole form or the nika form as long as it's not one of the restricted uses. And we talked about that last week with certain forms that nika cannot use and certain forms that nika can use. If it's not a restricted use, but it's something else, you can use either one. It just depends what feeling do you want to give to your sentence, and they have different feelings. Okay, so because actually here, this is a cool thing. You're gonna like this. If you already understand the nika form, this next part will make a lot of sense to you. We learned last week that the nika form can be used to say a command or a suggestion because of something. For example, the weather is good, so because the weather's nice, let's go have a picnic. Or shall we go have a picnic because the weather's so good? It's raining, so take your umbrella. All of these are okay with the nika form. Using commands or suggestions with the whole form is a big no-no. You cannot use commands or suggestions with the whole form. Why not? Using the explanation that I gave you about this, Why can't you? If you took notes already, this might already make sense why you cannot use commands and suggestions with these whole form. There's a reason, and it has to do with what I've already told you. Can anyone guess? Can anyone explain in the chat? Or if you don't want to write in the chat, that's fine. Just think about it on your own. Think about why can this form not use commands or suggestions? Think about it. Abby P. What up, I don't know, do you still do that? I don't care. What up, my people? Hey, everyone. Abby's here in the chat. What's up, Abby? I'm teaching these whole form today. Stars Gem says it already happened. Well, it hasn't already happened if you're doing like something will happen because of. So it could be that, but not necessarily. It doesn't have to be used in that kind of sentence. Because of the cause and effect. Yeah, but why? Okay. Gemma Vines got it. And also Julia had it. Because there has been no cause for the effect. Yes. In more layman's terms, because the A, so because the first part of sentence is not directly causing the second. Yes. Because the cause isn't known. That's right. It doesn't make any sense to say, please do something because of something that's causing it. Now, I'll give you an example. Oh, man, the weather's so good today. Shall we go outside? Sounds good. Because the weather's so nice, let's go outside. Okay, this whole form, though, is cause and effect. So really what you're saying is the weather being nice is causing me to do something or causing something. Now, if you said the weather is so nice, so I went to the beach. The nice weather caused me to want to go to the beach, or I went to the beach. Okay, good. The nice weather caused me to, let's go to the beach. Doesn't make any sense. There is no cause and effect in a command or a suggestion like that. So you cannot say something like, the rain is coming. 비가 와서. Because it's raining, 우산 챙겨요. Get your umbrella. You can't say something like that because here's what it sounds like. The rain is causing you get your umbrella. Like, what? No? You could say the rain caused me to, I got my umbrella. I wanted to bring my umbrella because it was raining. Yeah, that's fine. It raining made you get your umbrella. That's fine. It raining made, shall we get an umbrella? Doesn't make any sense. You cannot use these whole form with commands or suggestions. Now, you might hear people do this kind of mistakenly, like if they're making a sentence and they kind of just change it in their head and they'll say it. You might hear incorrect Korean from time to time, but if you think about it, it would sound awkward if used. So be careful and avoid this because this is something I did all the time as a beginner. I didn't know how this form was even different than nika when I was a beginner. Like, this would have been back in 2005, 2006, early 2006, I think. And I would always say things like that, like, 오늘 날씨가 너무 좋아서 공원에나 갈까? Like, shall we go to the park or somewhere? And it's like, the weather is so nice and that is causing you, shall we go to the park? Like, it doesn't make sense. You can understand it. If a Korean native hears this, they're going to understand what you mean. Like, oh, it's raining, so should we get an umbrella? They'll know what you're trying to say. It's not going to be difficult to understand, but it'll feel awkward to them and they might not be able to tell you why it feels awkward. But that's what it means. Okay. 안녕, 다들 화이팅 하세요. Yeah. Yes. Abby P. Yeah, Abby P. You still do YouTube? I know you do Twitch. Abby does Twitch. I watch her sometimes. Plays games. She's cool. Does cosplay. I did cosplay also once. If you search cosplay on my channel, you'll find the one time in my life I did cosplay. It's in my channel. We did a collab. Anyway, check that out later. Okay, so if you want to say a command, instead use the nika form. Because the unika ending doesn't have that restriction. So if you want to say, shall we do something or let's do something because of, always use this form, the nika form. Do not use the sol form. Hopefully that makes sense because I never understood why I couldn't do that. Okay, but this form can be used to express emotion. while the nika form is not. So what do I mean by that? Well, you can say I'm happy or I'm sad, etc., because of something. Now, when you're using that, you're actually saying something caused me to be happy or sad. And that's okay, because something happening can logically cause you to feel a certain way. So it's okay to use this with any sort of emotion. So this is not that big of a deal. What's really commonly used with emotions, let me say this again. A really common emotion you're going to use with this form is thank you and sorry, and a few others. So to express thank you for doing something, you're always going to use this soul form. Every time. I'm sorry that, always this form. Any sort of emotion, something caused you to feel a certain way. Now wait, if you're watching and you're still, most of you are going to be beginners. You might not know the verb thank you, 감사하다, is actually an emotion. 감사하다. You might know the expression 감사합니다, 감사해요, or maybe just 감사, online for slang. 감사하다 is a verb and it means to feel thankful. 미안하다 or 죄송하다, to feel sorry. You feel like full of regret, like you're really sorry for something. This is an emotion. I am sorry. I feel sorry. I am thank you. I feel thankful. It's actually more like saying I feel thankful because you did something. You doing something or someone doing something or something happening makes me feel thankful. That sort of meaning. So you'll use this and we'll give you some examples of that. Don't worry. I'll give you some examples of each of those. So again, this is because something can cause you to feel an emotion. There's a cause, whatever happened or whatever is, and the effect is I feel a certain way. So this is totally fine. There is a very, very common emotion that everyone uses that I'm sure you have used this sentence recently if you're actively practicing Korean. I just heard a few lights go on. 만나서 반갑습니다. 만나서 반갑습니다. Or 반가워요, depending how you're using it. Now this should make sense right away, what this sentence means. 만나다, to meet. 만나서 반갑습니다. So meeting. Oops, let me write this a little clearer. Meeting you, meeting. So, because of that, I feel 반갑다. 반갑다 is like to be happy, to be glad, to see someone or glad to meet someone. That's what it means. So I feel glad because I met you. So meeting you, or meeting, literally just meeting or meeting makes me feel glad. That's what this means. 만나서 반가워. 만나서 반가워요. 만나서 반갑습니다. So 만나서 반갑습니다 means nice to meet you. Literally though, I feel happy. I feel glad because we met. So meeting is the cause of me feeling happy. Yeah, it's like the first phrase you ever learn. That's right. Yeah, everyone learns these. Okay. All right, but we're not done. I just wanted to show you one simple example. When I first taught this form, actually, when I first showed you how to conjugate this form, I said that that's all you have to do. You might, however, see something. Do I even need to explain this right now? Yeah, okay. Although you cannot use the past tense, there are some cases where you can use the future tense, but it's not conjugated differently. Let me show you. First of all, if you have a sentence that is in the past tense, for example, something happened because of something. This verb, whatever verb it is, we'll use 하다 for example, still conjugates the exact same. It doesn't matter what the tense of the sentence is. This could be, I was trying to say future and present, and it came out as present tense. This could be present tense. This could be any tense. This could be past tense. It doesn't matter. This will always be the standard conjugation. So if you wanted to say, I went to bed early, 일찍 잤어요. Because my stomach hurt. 배가 아파서 일찍 잤어요. 배가 아파서. That's it. Conjugated normally. You do not need to conjugate this differently no matter the tense of the sentence. Do not. I don't know, I'm just trying to be funny. Don't do this. Do not use the past tense stem. 했어서. You might see this. We'll talk about that during the advanced notes, how this could be misused. We'll talk about that at the end of the lesson. I'll give you some extra notes. Don't use it. You only need this. And that's good. That's good news. You don't have to worry about anything else. In the future tense, it still conjugates the same way, but there is a way that you can use this in the future tense. Because the future tense is this. Let's see. 할 거예요, right? For example, you can have others. 할 거야 is also the same thing. Because this 에요 at the end is actually from the verb 이다. And we know that 이다 can also conjugate with the whole form as, for example, 나서. So you can say 할 거라서, 할 거라서. So because someone will do something or something will be, something future tense. That's possible. You can totally use that. So you might see this used in the future tense, but just know you're never going to do something like 하겠어서. No. As I said in the very beginning, you'd never have to do anything other than the standard conjugation when using this form. So you're still not doing anything other than the standard conjugation. It's still just 하다 is 해서, the end. You don't need to do 하겠어서. No, it's always the standard. If you're going to conjugate anything, you could conjugate the 이다 at the end of the future tense if you want. You don't have to, but if you do want to emphasize something will be, because something will be, then you can use this. 할 거라서, for example. 22. Okay, I'm good on time. All right, let's go to our first example sentence. Everyone doing okay? I was going to ask about 해서, like 지금 공부해서. Yeah, that's what we're just... Okay, let me do an example sentence now. If you don't understand all of the words in here, don't worry, I'll break it down. Okay, this is not the easiest sentence that I have for the lesson, but I did want to do this one first. If you don't know these words, 비가 오는 날은, if you don't know these, you can actually just ignore that. If you don't know these words, here's a shorter version of the sentence that still makes sense. 시원해서 좋아요. 시원하다 is to be cool, like the weather's cool, nice and cool weather. So 시원하다, 시원해서 좋아요. You can just interpret it like that if you don't know the rest. But here, 비가 오는 날은, so 비가 오다 means to rain, literally the rain comes. So on a rainy day, literally a day when the rain comes, 비가 오는 날은 시원해서 기분이 좋아요. It is cool, 시원하다. Because it is cool, being cool causes me to feel, 기분, my mood, 기분이 좋아요. So literally my mood is good. So I feel good. It puts me in a good mood. You can think of it like that. But I feel good on rainy days because it's cool. So let's see what I already translated. I feel good on rainy days because it's cool. Or literally, on a day that rains, because it is cool, I feel good. So again, cause and effect. Rainy day. You can ignore this for understanding the cause and effect of the sentence. So rainy day, because it is cool. The cause. This causes me to feel good. The cool weather causes me to feel good. Logically, that makes sense. Totally fine to use. 시원해서 기분이 좋아요. You would not say 시원하니까 기분이 좋아요 because we learned last week that 니까 is not used for an emotion. Something that directly causes you to feel a certain way, that is what we use for an emotion. So use the whole form anytime you have a way someone feels. Feel good. Na 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 na. You need another na na, I think, at the end. Okay. 비가 오는 날은 시원해서 기분이 좋아요. So, I feel good on rainy days because it's cool. All right. Let's do our next sentence. This one will be a little bit easier. And this one, this is a form that you're definitely going to want to memorize. Actually, I'm just going to tell you this. I want you to make a sentence. First of all, 늦다. Why is my voice always cracking? Because I never really finished puberty, I guess. 늦다 is to be late. Tell your friend or your teacher or whoever, your coworker, I'm sorry. I'm late. Now, sorry, there are a few different words. You can use 미안하다, 죄송하다. I'm not going to write it up. It's whatever you want. Say you're sorry for being late. Do it. Do it. Let the Korean flow. Go ahead. I know you can do this. 고 선생님 비를 좋아하는 것 같아요. Okay, yeah, I do like the rain. It's nice. Okay, I'm not going to read yours out. I'm not going to read them out loud because I don't want to tell you the answer yet, but I'm scanning all of them right now. Nice. Oh, it's so good. I'm so proud of you. So proud of all of you. Yes. 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 More. Keep going. Okay, well, I don't know. Maybe someone will mess up and then I'll... Oh, yes. Still okay. Let's go. Yes. Hey, Carrie. Welcome, Carrie. Oh, very nice, Stars Gem. Noir, you don't need a on 오늘. Yes. Kevin, you would put past tense at the end of your sentence. I was given some little notes here. Insert more Kylo Ren. Which Kylo Ren gif are we talking about? There's so many good ones. The memes were much better than the movies. Oh, this is wonderful. Okay, I'm so happy right now. Okay. Anytime you want to say you're sorry for doing something, 서, 미안하다, or 죄송하다, if you want to be a little more formal. 늦어서 미안해요. So I am late. 늦다. 늦어서, because I am late, I'm sorry. So me being late makes me feel sorry. Literally, that's what it gets. That's what it gets. That's what it means. 늦어서 미안해요. You're going to say this all the time. 오늘도 좀 늦게 와서 미안해요. 좀 늦어서 미안해요. Sorry I'm late. Sorry I came a little bit late. Anything. 잘 못해서 미안해요. I'm sorry that I'm just not very good at doing whatever work or something. 늦어서 미안해요. I'm sorry I'm late. So anytime you want to say you're sorry, use this form. Okay. What about saying thanks for doing something? When you say thanks for, what you're really saying is, because you did something, I feel whatever, thankful. So, 도와주다. 도와주다 means to help. I want you to say thank you for helping. Now, take a second and think about it, okay? Because you might mess it up. What you are actually saying is, I feel thankful. You can use either 감사하다 or 고맙다. These both mean to be thankful. So I feel thankful because you help me. Again, remember the conjugation. I don't want you to be tricked because I'm saying thank you that you helped me. It's past tense, right? Remember the conjugation I told you though. So, I feel thankful that you, I'm giving you a little tip here, a little hint. You helped me. Thank you. Okay, go ahead and write it. You might already know it. If you don't, write it. Starboy. I'm not laughing at you, Starboy, but what you wrote was a funny mistake. 더워져서 정말 감사해. That's not 도와주다. That's 더워지다. That means to get hot. Like the weather got really, it's really hot. So that's like saying I'm really thankful that the weather got super hot. It just sounds funny. It's a typo. Nice. Carrie Rich, you were not tricked. Okay, I see some correct answers. I see some almost correct answers. I see some perfect answers. I see some less than perfect answers. Yeah, Starboy, it's okay. It could have been worse. It could have not been funny. Then it's like, but at least it's something to remember. Thankful. I'm so thankful that it's really hot. 더워져서 정말 감사합니다. Wow. Like you're thankful to Gaia or whoever the god of nature is. I don't know. 고맙습니다. Yes. Okay. So there was a little bit of a trick in this question. I emphasized you. If you don't know honorifics, you might not have gotten this right. So then how do we say thank you for helping? Well, we need the verb 도와주다. So how did I say you conjugate? You just conjugate it like normal. Oops, I got a donation. I don't see how much it is. Who gave it? Where is it? Hasn't shown up yet. Where is it? Wow, Jackie! Jackie! Oh my goodness. Jackie. Let's put Jackie H so I have room right here. Wow, Jackie. I don't know if that's the right amount to fill it up. I'm just filling it up that much. Thank you so much. Wow, I got to do a dance party for a sec. Hold on. It's going to do some dabs. Everyone out there, do some dabs for Jackie. Thank you so much. Awesome. Starboy said, I got overconfident and confused there, but thanks anyways. Yes. 도내해주셔서 감사합니다. Usually on streams, they use the word 도내 for donation. This is 도내. And then, yeah, okay, so I don't want to take away too much time for the lesson. Thank you so much. I'll put your name as the supporter at the end of this live stream once I have abridged it into these short versions. So, yeah, everyone who does large donations, I put their name. It's usually maybe like one every other stream. I put their name at the very end of the stream. Thank you again. Okay, so where was I? Okay, so 도와주다, to help. So how do you conjugate that normally? 도와주어서, right? But now this is correct. If you want to say thanks to a friend, thanks to someone close, you can say 도와줘서 고마워, or maybe 고마워요. 도와줘서 고마워. Thanks for helping me. That's perfectly correct. But if you are going to be speaking to someone who you would normally use honorifics to, that is not correct. Because you are saying, I feel thankful because you helped me. So you shouldn't just use 도와주다. You should use 도와주시다, the honorific version, because you, the person I'm speaking honorifically to, the person I'm speaking honorifically to is you, and you are the one that helped me, so I want to use honorifics when referring to you. So I want to use 주시다. So we conjugate that. 도와주셔서 감사합니다. Now, you wouldn't use this to your close friends because you wouldn't use honorifics to them. But for anyone else, 도와주셔서 감사합니다. Or maybe they did something for you. You could say 하다 becomes 해주셔서 감사합니다. Thanks for doing it. 정말 도와주셔서 감사합니다. 도와주셔서 정말 감사합니다. Like that. So I would just remember 도와주셔서 as a commonly used expression if you don't want to have to think about honorifics. But because this person who's doing something for you would normally be someone you'd use honorifics to talk about, you want to attach it here because they're the person who's doing it. You are not helping. You're not saying, I helped you, so I feel thankful. You're saying, you helped me. So, 도와줘서 for your friends, 도와줘서 for your friends, and 도와주셔서 for everyone else. Okay, but we're not done. Let's do a few more examples, and then we're done with this basic form. There's still a lot more we have to talk about, but then we're done with this whole basic form. I want you to try to translate this. Actually, this might be a bit difficult because this lesson is for beginners. Go ahead and try to translate it though anyway, but it's not a beginner level sentence, I'll admit. Okay, go ahead and try to translate it, but again, this is not a beginner level sentence. The reason I'm including this sentence is actually just because it uses the ida version, 라서. That's the only reason I put this sentence in. Let's see here. Okay. Yeah, 아는 is from the verb 알다, to know. Present tense adjective conjugation. If that doesn't make any sense, I do have a live stream about that, how to turn action verbs into adjectives. It's very useful. It's used all the time, and it's really powerful form that lets you unlock a lot more types of sentences. So 노래라서, because it's a song, but now we have 아는. This is 알다, so a song that I, present tense, a song that someone knows, a known song. So because it's a song that I know, okay, I'm not going to do any more of that. I'm going to wait for a sec, see if anyone has sing after it, known song, because I know the song, sing along. Okay, Sophia, I was singing along. Yep. Ocean Discovery, yep. All right, okay. 아는 노래라서. So, because it is, remember, 라서 is from 이다, to be. So, because it is a 노래 that I, 아는, so 알고 있는, a song that I know, 따라 부르다 is to follow and sing, literally. So to sing along, 따라 불렀어요. 아는 노래라서 따라 불렀어요. So I sang along because it's a song that I know. I sang along to the song because I knew it. 아는 노래라서 따라 불렀어요. Okay. Let's go on. I just have 2 more sentences for this form. But like I said, it wouldn't be a Go Billy lesson unless we didn't go into some real detail. So I have some more stuff coming up soon. 바빠서 전화를 못 받았어요. 바빠서. So this comes from 바쁘다, to be busy. So because I am busy, because busy, that's all we have. But the last part of the sentence, 받았어요, 못 받았어요. So past tense. I couldn't get it. 전화를 못 받았어요. I couldn't get the phone. Past tense. Because 바빠서, because busy. Notice again, there is no tense here. It's not 바빴어서 or something like that. It's even hard to say it. 바빴어서. It's not 바빴어서 or 바쁘겠어서 or anything like that. It's just 바빠서. So this is actually, I think, one of the easier forms to conjugate because it never changes. It's always the way it is. 바빠서 전화를 못 받았어요. So I couldn't get the phone, 전화, because I was busy is how you'll translate it. Even though in Korean, because I am busy. So just keep that in mind. 바빠서 전화를 못 받았어요. I couldn't get the phone because I was busy. 바빠서 전화를 못 받았어요. Okay, one more sentence. Just like the nika ending, the 서 ending can also be used at the end of a sentence as 서 or 서요 to mean it's because. Just like you can attach a yo to the end of the nika form and end a sentence like that. Now, this is fairly common in conversation. You're not going to find this usage in writing, but it's really common to use for speaking. For example, you might say, 어제 전화를 못 받았어요. 전화를 못 받아서 미안해요. 정말 바빠서요. It's because I was busy. Like you might switch up the sentence. Yeah, I couldn't get the phone. I'm sorry I couldn't get the phone yesterday. It's because I was busy. 바빠서요. You can just stick it at the end of the sentence. If you want to say it like maybe while you're making your sentence, I couldn't get the phone. You weren't thinking of explaining the reason. You make the whole sentence, and after you just want to quickly add the reason. So you can say it at the end like that. So you might hear that. Let me give you an example sentence of this. 이걸 수는 없어서요. Okay. So, 제가 이걸 다 먹을 수는 없어서요. 제가, I, 이것을. So this thing, this food, whatever. 다, completely, all. 먹다, to eat. 먹을 수 없다, cannot eat. So 먹을 수는 없어서요. So it's because I can't eat all of this. 제가 이걸 다 먹을 수는 없어서요. It's because I can't eat it all. So maybe you're saying, we need to go. I don't want to order anymore. It's because I can't even eat all of this. 제가 이걸 다 먹을 수는 없어서요. So now you have the sentence ending with 서. That's all you need to do. And then the translation again will be, it's because. Okay. If you are here to learn about the because form 서, that is everything you need to know about the because form 서. But that is not everything about the 서 form. So we're going to talk a little bit more about it. I don't know why I try to be cool and throw pens. I don't know why I think throwing pens is cool in the first place. Okay. Hill Figure Chris said, "Oh, this is getting spicier." I thought I misread that. I thought you said this is getting spider. I was like, is that like the new slang? Kids saying this is getting spider today. Okay. So let's talk about some more advanced notes about this form and other forms you might have seen that look like this form but actually aren't. First of all, when you use the 서 form, remember I said you conjugate a verb and you attach 서, right? Can't even spell. Okay, I lied. You don't actually need the 서. So wait, what? There's like nothing there, and it's, yeah. This so, not only in this form, but in many uses of so, it's actually optional. So that means before we had the verb hada, and it can become he so, that means the so is optional? Yeah. That looks weird. Yeah. You might see this form used without the so at the end. It's still conjugated. This part is still the same, but there's no so. So what is going on there? Well, you might see in some more formal, or usually it's just written styles, that the so is not included. But it has the same meaning. Hold on, I have a donation. Who's this? Angel Dismooks? That's not your... I want to say that's... How do you pronounce that name? How do you pronounce it? Tell me, please, so I can pronounce your name. Angel. Angel. I'll just put Angel D. Wow. Angel, thank you so much. I got to do another short dance party for Angel. Okay, let's get a dab party music. Okay, here we go. Everyone throw out a dab for Angel. Okay, I'll stop before people start telling me to stop. Thank you again so much. That's so kind of you. Wow. I guess putting my goal bar up here was a good idea. I'm getting more donations than usual. Awesome. Okay. Yes, so back to here. What was I even talking about now? Okay. Okay. So it's actually optional, and you might find sometimes more formal expressions that don't use it, sometimes idioms that don't use it, but it has the same meaning. My recommendation to you is to not remove it, because unless you're using it in a perfect sentence, it can sound a bit awkward if you say something imperfectly and you don't use it. For example, using this, hey, can sound like a command also if you don't finish the rest of the sentence. So you're making a sentence and you want to say because of something, like 배가 아파 못 갔어요. It sounds like you're saying 배가 아파 못 갔어요. It sounds like you're mixing your politeness levels. It sounds awkward. On writing, you might see this kind of style sometimes. Just be aware of it, but I don't recommend using it yourself, at least not until you're more comfortable with how it works. But just know it might not be there. Now, this is when the whole form is being used to mean because. There are other whole forms that don't mean because necessarily. And we're going to be talking about those as well in a second. Okay. Just wanted to cover that. We're not done. Okay, that's the last note about because, but no. Okay. One more thing. I told you that this is only used in the regular conjugation as 해서, right? You don't do past tense or anything. There is a recent trend of using the past tense conjugation, for example, 했어, with the whole form inside of sentences that are in the past tense. For example, someone might want to say, I couldn't go to the party because my stomach hurt. And normally you have to say 아파서. But recently, there has been a trend of some people who would say it as 아팠어서, because my stomach hurt in the past tense, trying to emphasize that no longer does it hurt, but at that time I couldn't go because my stomach had hurt then. It is wrong. And frankly, although you might see it, you might actually see this on the internet from time to time, although you might see it, it is a bit awkward, I think, and I would not recommend doing this yourself. So if you see someone else use it, just know it's a common mistake that actually sounds and feels a little bit awkward when it's used in Korean. And I recommend against it. And this is not an example of, old man yells at cloud. It actually does kind of sound awkward. And in some situations, even the people who would use that type of speech would agree it sounds awkward with certain types of verbs. Let me give you an example. If you're using the verb ita, to exist, that would always become 있어서. Now this already has a bunch of 있어서, right? 있어서, 서서. It already has those letters in there, but it's okay. 있어서. If you use this in the past tense, what you get, however, is 있었어서. 있었어서. This sounds like 있었어서. It just sounds like some fake language. It sounds weird. They wouldn't use this because it sounds awkward. It feels awkward with all of these 시옷 letters in there. 있었어서. So even if they feel like it grammatically is okay, or, I'm just trying to emphasize that it was the really past. No, it breaks down in certain usages and sounds awkward with certain verbs. So keep that in mind. Let me give you another example that's even worse. I guess I'll do that one. 씻다. 씻다 means to wash, like to wash up or something. If you're going to use this with the 서 form, 씻어서. 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 Sorry, not 씻어서. I was thinking 있어서. 씻어서. It's even hard to say it like the 씻어서 because this one here, but this one's not. 씻어서. Good. Okay. What is this? 씻었어서. 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 머리를 손을 씻었어서. It just sounds like really weird. So it will not take over. Like, what I'm trying to say is this is not a trend that's going to become accepted anytime soon. I'm not saying never, but it's not one of those new trends that I think is going to take over and be accepted. It's one of those things that has some barriers before it gets accepted. So I recommend not using it. In some cases, it just sounds really awkward. Other cases, it doesn't sound too bad. Like I think 했어서 doesn't sound too bad. 봤어서 doesn't sound too bad. But just know you might see it. I wanted to dedicate a portion of this because it's a thing. You'll see it sometimes, but I want you to know it's incorrect and sometimes sounds quite awkward. So just be aware of it. You might see it, but know that sometimes it can sound awkward. Okay. Yeah. If there's any, someone said it sounds Italian. Shisososo. Yeah, I don't know. You get your shisososo sauce. Shisososo sauce. You put that in your shisososo spaghetti. I don't know. Yeah, it just sounds really, really awkward. So just know, though, it does exist. So if you search that on the internet, 했어서 or 있었어서, you'll find it. You'll find lots of examples of it. You might even find people arguing that it's okay or that it has a different meaning. Just be aware of it, okay? My job as a Korean teacher isn't so much to tell you what to do and what not to do. I just want to inform you that it does exist, even though it's technically wrong. And know that even though it gets used sometimes, it actually still kind of sounds awkward to a lot of people. Okay. Kind of like, saying the word ain't. Like you could argue that ain't is used so much, it's got to be accepted English. But even nowadays, it's considered like it's wrong English, even if there are people who use it. Or, saying there or there, mixing them up. Like even though people do that, doesn't quite make it right. And if you look at it, it just looks awkward. So it's kind of one of those things, but you'll see it more and more as time goes on. Okay, there is one more use for the whole form, which is very common, that is not because, and that is to show that two actions are strongly related. So by this, it shows these two verbs, whatever comes before and whatever comes after, have a strong relationship. So write that down. Strong relationship, 서. It's a different form than because 서. So what does this mean then? Well, A and B are strongly related to each other. And actually, in order to use it like this, and I'll tell you what it means. In order to use it like this, both A and B have to be action verbs. So you could not say a descriptive verb because of a descriptive verb. Actually, you could say because of. So you could not say descriptive verb is related to action verb, or two descriptive verbs are related. Both of these have to be action verbs when you're using it to have this meaning. Let me give you a sentence example, and then I'll tell you what it means. So let me give you a sentence, and then we'll talk about what it's used for. What would you put in this blank here? There isn't really a right answer. Well, okay, there are lots of wrong answers, but you have two choices you can put in this box right here. Well, okay, actually, no, I think there are actually a few other choices. Okay, anyway, forget I asked. You could put 고 in this space. 도서관, library. 도서관에 가고 공부할 거예요. So, I'm going to the library, 고, and then I'm going to 공부할 거예요. I'm going to study. So I'm going to the library and then I'm going to study. That's a normal sentence. Or you can use the 서 form. Now, it just so happens that 가다 becomes 가서. Note, it still is conjugating. Just the conjugation of 가다 is also 가. So don't get this confused by, don't start just using the verb stem when you're conjugating. Keep it in mind, it still is conjugating. It just looks the same in this one sentence. Okay. Or you can have 도서관에 가서 공부할 거예요. Both of these mean I will go to the library and study. But the nuance is completely different. And these are not interchangeable. Only the translation is interchangeable. Mostly. Now, 고 shows that one action happens and then another action happens. So it's simply like saying this and this, right? You can also think of 고 when used as verbs as meaning and then. So I will go to the library and then I will study. That's it. There is no connection though between these two actions, going to the library and studying, right? There's no connection. Simply, today I'm going to the library and then I'm going to study. This does not mean you're going to study at the library though. You could say, I'm going to the library and then I'm going to cook. 도서관에 가고 집에서 요리할 거예요. I'm going to go to the library and I'm going to cook at my house. You could say that because it's simply two actions. You could not say 가서 집에서 요리할 거예요. That doesn't fit. The two actions must be directly related in order to use them with 서. So if we switch this to 서, you also get the meaning of I'm going to the library and I'm going to study. But now, going to the library is related directly to studying. Therefore, you are studying at the library. You cannot say I'm going to the library and then studying if you mean somewhere else. Because these are now related. 서 connects strongly two actions. By connecting them, what you're saying is, actually, let's do this. If you have A, 서, B, what you're saying is that B happens immediately after A. So A happens, and then immediately after A is happening, B happens. In fact, it's so immediate that you have to be doing it at the same location. Those two things are related. So if you're saying, I'm going to buy ingredients and cook for my friend, that means you're going to be using those ingredients to cook for your friend. Not just you're buying ingredients and you're going to cook something else for your friend, but you're going to be using those ingredients to cook for your friend. The key of this form, when it's used like this, is a strong relationship. So going, studying, you're going to the library and you're studying at the library. So whenever you use this 서, it does not mean simply that two things happen, but those two things are directly related. And if you were to say 도서관에 가고 공부할 거예요, you could mean Yeah, I'm going to the library and then I'm going to study. Oh, well, I'm going to study at the library, but it doesn't convey any feeling like that. It just says like today I'm doing step 1, going to the library. Step 2, I'm going to be studying. Step 3, it doesn't mean you're going to be studying at the library though, if you just use cool. Okay. The opposite says you only use sol when the two actions are directly related. Right. Just keep in mind, again, this is not the because meaning. This is a different meaning. We already finished the because part of the lesson. So yeah, if you use sol to mean that in this usage, it means that two actions are directly related. They have a strong relationship with each other. So one happens and then immediately after the next happens and they are related. Okay. Now, is this kind of like the because form? What do you think? Is this kind of like because? Or is this a completely separate usage? What do you think and why? While I drink some more of my blue juice. Luke Skywalker, eat your heart out. What do you think? Someone says yes. Someone said kinda. What? Why? What's your reason? Why do you think yes or no? Well, you can say it's more like and. Yeah, translation, this is and. This will always just translate as and. Just like the cool form, but the meaning's different. Bora says, it sounds like I went to the library to study. Yes, you could say like that. I went to the library to study. Although it's not literally, I'm going to study to the library, because if you wanted to say I'm going to study at the library, you could say 공부하려고 도서관에 가요. Like for the purpose of studying, that's why I'm going to the library. But using it like this also kind of has that feeling, because you wouldn't study just anywhere. The reason you're studying, the whole effect that you're studying is all caused by you going to the library. Did I just say something? Did I just say cause and effect? Billy, is this cause and effect? Kind of. Yeah, kind of it is. Going to the library, A, caused me to study. Kind of. Cause and effect shows a strong relationship between two things, right? This thing caused me to do this. Yeah. Therefore, it is strongly related. Yeah. So it's kind of like a brother or sister interpretation of this form. Doing something because I did this. That's why I'm studying. So I'm at the library. I'm studying at the library. I'm not just studying, but the reason I'm studying is because I'm at the library. So you can kind of think about it like that, but you don't really need to think about it like that. Just understand that the two actions are directly related when you use this. And there are tons of situations where you're going to see it used like this. Anytime you're seeing sol and it's two actions, often it will be this form, not because, but just pay attention to see what it is. It's not too far of a stretch though from our cause and effect to think about a strong relationship because of a cause and effect. So it's kind of related to it. Yeah. Yeah. And if this is the first time someone's like, I'm lost. Yeah. If this is the first time you're seeing this form, this is not the main part of the lesson. We just finished that, which was just meaning because. This is going a little further. We always go a little bit into the intermediate or I don't know, sometimes advanced levels whenever we do notes after the lesson. Okay, so kind of it's related to that, but it's not necessarily the same thing. Just keep it in mind. There's one more usage of the sol form. There are actually a lot more, but these are the three main ones. If anyone gives me a sentence with sol, I can tell you which of these meanings it is. It can also be used to show the method or the way that something happens. Now, there's a note about this. When you're using the sol form to show how something happens, more commonly, it's actually not added. Optionally, you can add it, but when you add it in this usage, it actually gives the opposite feeling of being a little bit more formal. But all you need to know is that it's optional. So it's optional in this form, but most of the time it's actually not used. Hold on, I got a donation. Stacy, wow, thank you so much. Gotta fill in my, I'll fill in all these little holes up here because I've been leaving these out. Hold on. Gotta get these all nice and filled in. I'm gonna keep this bar up until it's filled too. Okay. Stacy J, thank you so much. $35 donation. Awesome. I'm actually pretty far along to buying another one of the lights that I ordered. It's gonna come Tuesday, so you'll see it next Sunday. I don't know if anyone will notice it. I will notice it though. Thank you so much. Let's do a short little dab party then. Everyone do a dab for Stacy. Oops. Thank you. Awesome. Okay. Nice. See some people dabbing out there. Okay. So again, when you use 서 to mean the method or way that something happens, the 서 is actually more commonly not added, but you might also see it added too. It's the same thing. And this is also a very common usage of the 서 form. Let me show you. I only have one sentence, but you know, if you want, I could do a separate lesson all about these two usages of how it can be used to mean like a strong relationship or using how to show it for a method or a way. If you want, feel free to request that. Members can request that if you want. Otherwise, this is really like the whole lesson though. I mean, I could do a full lesson, which would simply give more examples. But as far as explanation, this is all there is. There isn't any other information you need to know because the way it works is exactly the same as the other 서 form. I'm just letting you know. But if you want, you can still request. I can do more example sentences of these forms. So you could see it as 찍어 or 찍어서. It's the same thing. 찍어 먹었어요. 찍어서 먹었어요. Both are okay. Okay. So the problem with this form, when it's used to mean the method or the way something happens, is that it's going to be difficult to translate in English because this is not something that we do in English, at least not in the same way. 빵을 우유에 찍어서 먹었어요. 빵, bread, 우유, milk. 찍다 is to dip. Just don't double dip. That's like putting your whole mouth in the dip. 찍어서 먹다, to dip. Dipping is the way that you eat it. So I dipped it, and that's how I ate it. I ate it by dipping it in milk. So I ate the bread by dipping it in milk. Kind of sounds disgusting if I think about it now. Sounded better when I wrote the sentence. I guess it's like sweet bread. Okay, yeah, that works. 빵을 우유에 찍어서 먹었어요. So I ate the bread by dipping it in milk and eating it. Kind of like that. But yeah, dipping it. In English, we would say I ate it while dipping it. We'd say maybe while dipping it or something. We'd change up how we would say it. So it doesn't really match one-to-one with English, but literally, the way that I ate it was by dipping it. So by doing something will be a good way to translate it in this case. And you'll see lots of uses like this. It'll always be directly before another verb, like this. And in that case, it means the method, the way, how you do something. So in this case, I ate it. 빵을 먹었어요. 우유에 찍어서. So I ate it by dipping it in milk. And it just describes how you ate it. I ate it by dipping it in milk. Okay. When you're eating chips, 치즈에 찍어서 먹어. 치즈에 찍어서 먹어요. So you're describing how are you eating the chips? Well, you're eating them by dipping it in cheese. Anyway, 찍어서 먹다 is a really common expression. You can just learn that to eat by dipping something. Okay. 붕어빵, not 붕어. It's 붕. 붕어빵, not 붕. Okay, 붕어 is the fish, goldfish or whatever. 붕 is a fart. So, yeah. Careful what you're eating. Yeah, 붕어빵. Wait, did I write pang? Anyway, pang. I think I wrote pang. I wasn't paying attention. I was just laughing so hard. So, pang. I even wrote it here correctly, and then I wrote it up there incorrectly. Okay. Yeah, careful about that. All right. So, that is our lesson for today. Now I will take questions if you have any of them to ask. If not, if you don't have any other questions or any you'd like to practice, that's the whole lesson. Thank you for coming. So I'm going to take questions now for the next 15 minutes or so. Hopefully it made sense, but please ask questions if it didn't. Mera Mimi asks, why not uro? Uro is only attached to nouns. And that's to show the means or the method or whatever that you use, like using a tool, kind of in that sense. And the tool is a noun. It does not attach to verbs like that. Sakura asks, 지 않아요, 지 않다 versus 안 하다. If you ever have a negative with 않다 versus the an of the verb, besides the obvious differences in how they're conjugated differently, the other main difference, and then the difference of which verbs can and can't use it, because not every verb can use this. This has to go directly before the verb. Whereas this goes at the end of a stem, any sort of stem. So any verb can use this, but not every verb can use this. You can only use the verb itself, never like 안 공부하다, because 공부 is not a verb. So this has to go, besides the difference in usage, if you assume you could use them the same, the difference is 지않다 has slightly more of a formal feel. Slightly. That's it. So this one gets used more often in conversation, but neither of them is awkward. Neither of them is wrong. Angie, only a little donation, so half a dab, please. Half. I can give you a half a dab. We can work that out. Thank you so much to everyone who's donated. I know at the beginning of the stream I was talking about how expensive all the equipment is, but yeah, all of this is financed by you. If you think, wow, Billy, I really like the quality of your stream. I like how it sounds. The quality is much better than it used to be. Then, yeah, all of that is thanks to you. All of the donations and more from Patreon, YouTube, everything. Oh, hold on, I got to give Angie half a dab first. All those have been financed by you. So you are the reason why the stream looks and sounds and is the way that it is. Okay, we got to do half a dab for Angie. So how do I do half a dab? Maybe like that. There we go. It's half a dab. Thank you again. Starboy says 있어서 and 있었어. It's only a difference. Okay, I have a video for you tomorrow. Tomorrow, this is my new video. How to pronounce this sound and this sound. Because you asked about what's the difference between this I think. And the difference is that this has this at the bottom. And this has one. So it's either this sound versus this sound. So 있어서, 있어서, and 있었어, 서. That's the difference. 있어서 and 있었어, 서. You have that double sound. And I could just say 서 and 서, but that doesn't really help. I did a video, though, exactly how you can make the sound differently. And even if you're yelling it, you can still pronounce this one and this one differently. They're very different. So check that out. I give tips exact tips that I use for how to pronounce these tomorrow morning. That will be up at 6 a.m. in Los Angeles time. Simplified Fluffle says, hey, Mr. Billy. I didn't know my last name was Billy, but that's fine. Do you have any apps that you recommend for learning Korean? Apps. Korean learning apps? I made a video about apps for learning Korean. So that video, though, was like a year or so old, but I think most of them are still the same. I haven't seen any new apps come up that I'm really interested in. So check that out. I have some of the ones I recommend are actually just like language exchange apps like Hello Talk or Tandem or something like that. Those are good, but other specific apps, check out the video I have about apps. Hey, Stars Gem. Stars Gem, thank you for joining. Our newest member, Stars Gem. Everyone say hi to Stars Gem. Now you get the, for Star Gem, excuse me. Stars Gem, multiple. Say hi to our newest member. Now your name is in green. And now everyone else can be green of your membership status. Christopher says, do you have any more videos with tips for how to pronounce double consonants? Yes. My beginner Korean course in the first few episodes covers all about that with tips. But like I said, I'm uploading one tomorrow that's specifically those two sounds because those, despite knowing how to pronounce double consonants, those two can still get confused a lot. So I wanted to make a separate video with extra tips for those specific two sounds. But yeah, for general tips, I would say check out the first few episodes of my beginner Korean course because I put the most tips that I have in there already. Okay, everyone's saying hi. Nice, nice. Okay, Bora asks, when we use "saw" at the end of the sentence, should we use past tense if we answer a question about past? Nope, never. As I said in the very beginning, many times, I'll say it again, always the standard conjugation. The way that it becomes past tense or not is 100% by context. Someone says, why were you late? Past tense. 왜 늦었어? There's past tense right there. 아파서요. 너무 피곤해서요. You don't need to say 피곤했어요. Unless you just want to say I was too tired. If you want to say because I was too tired, 피곤해서요. The end. Not past tense, not 했었어요 or anything like that. Let's forget that I was a member for 4. Yeah, in the past, but still, welcome again. Caption for the KeyCat fan page. A caption. I'm not sure what I would say. It would depend on the picture, I guess. Sakura says, would you please make a video where you only speak in Korea? Speak Korean. A lot of people request that. I actually already have a lot, and I do make them all the time. But you wouldn't know that unless you follow all of my videos. But if you want to hear me speaking Korean, I recommend checking out my Korean FAQ series. Sorry, not Korean FAQ. The Korean interview series is one. Another one where you hear me speak a lot of Korean is the Q&A series. Is that? No. Glass with Billy. That's the one I couldn't think of. Glass with Billy, I have sometimes where I'll interview people that are Korean and we only speak Korean. And I think maybe a third or a half of those episodes are all in Korean. So check those out. And then the interview series are all Korean. 100% those are all Korean. And I have like, I don't know, over a dozen episodes of that. Where else can you hear me speak Korean? Other people's channels. If I do collabs with other channels, you can hear me speaking Korean. There's a podcast. I don't know how active it still is, but there's a SpongeMind podcast, which is I'm friends with Johnson who runs SpongeMind podcast. And I've been a guest on there several times, and those are all in Korean as well. It's just like 30 minutes of speaking in Korean. So it's not really hard to find it. I just don't do it for my live streams very much because most people here are learning in English. But yeah, if you want to hear me speak Korean, definitely check out my Korean interview series as well as my Glass with Billy series. And I think I have there's a few more videos coming up soon. You'll see. Next week also. Oh yeah, this Friday also, the new video is me speaking all in Korean. And the next week and the next week after that are also all in Korean. So you'll see some new ones. Those are travel videos where I'm speaking all in Korean. Your English teaching channel, I haven't done that in like over 3 years. So no, that's a dead channel. Christopher says, do you ever make pronunciation and grammar mistakes when speaking Korean? No, never. Yeah, of course. Everyone makes, I make pronunciation mistakes when I'm speaking in English. So yeah, that's normal. Now, I usually know I said it wrong. So when I'm talking Korean and I say something weird, because I'm trying to improve my Korean, I'll correct myself right away. I'll like laugh and say, why did I say it like that? What was it? I'm trying to think of a funny mistake I made recently. I just forgot. Anyway, yeah, all the time. I usually, though, I hear it, I know I said it wrong, and I'll correct myself right away. Sweet cheeks. Got the wrong cheeks, yeah. Yeah. Maybe you're just trying to compliment them. Just be careful. Mac M says, is this similar to 가지고? Yes. However, 가지고 is less restrictive. 가지고, yeah, but it is the equivalent form, but 가지고 is only for informal slang usage. I don't even know if it's quite slang. Definitely informal, casual usage, I'll say. Not for formal usage. Can be used in standard polite Korean, but it has more of a casual, informal feel to it. And yeah, same meaning overall. What is difference between 다고, 해도, and 너도? Okay, Abdur, I have a video about the quoting form. What you're asking is quoting form versus the 도. So 일하고 해도 is even if you say, versus 일하도, even if it is. So even if you say you're busy, 바쁘다고 해도 is different than 바빠도. So even if you're busy versus even if you say that you're busy, that's the difference. It's just quoting, talking about saying, someone saying something. Or even if I'm saying, or whatever, someone's saying. And I have a lesson all about quoting forms. I have several actually, but there also is a live stream all about those too. Chazart, I already answered that question. I said you can check out lots of my videos. I would speak Korean here, but are there any Koreans here that I could speak with? Or else I would just be talking with myself, and I feel awkward doing that. I would like to talk with someone. I can call my friends. I speak Korean every day with my friends who don't speak any English. Simplified Fluffle says, what's your Korean name? I don't have a Korean name. I used to have several Korean names. And the one Korean name that I used to use a lot in Korea, I ended up giving to my kid. So it's his Korean name now. So I don't have one now. I don't use one. But you don't need one. And I actually made a video about how to make a Korean name. And that's one of the things I talk about is that usually you don't need one. Miko. Okay, I'll take a couple more questions and then we'll stop for today. Miko says, good day, Billy Hyung. I just want to say thank you for how to read and write Hangul video as a beginner. It's really huge help for me and others want to learn the Korean language. Heart. Sakura says, I used to learn Japanese while watching anime. Ditto. But now I follow K-pop. I'm learning Korean. Is it okay to learn both languages? It's okay to learn both. But as someone who has studied both at the same time, the one you're spending more time with will be the one you get better at. And the one you're not using will be the one you slowly forget. So are you able to put in an equal amount of time into both languages every day? Then yeah, it's fine. But do you want to? Do you need to? Can you just pick one? I mean, it's going to be hard for a lot of people to stay focused on two different languages at once. Now, learning multiple languages can actually help. But the problem, like I think most people run into, is time management. So it's how good are you at managing your time? Can you stay focused on two languages during the day? Usually what happens is you'll pick one over the other and you'll end up studying one more than the other and then wondering, why am I forgetting the other? It's because if you don't put any time into it, you're not going to keep remembering. But learning another language isn't going to immediately make you forget the other language. So that's just not really what happens. Someone said, "Kopiri, kopiri." Yeah. Piri piri. Okay, Windex says, is this a sponsor? Is this a sponsor spot? Did you just get me to sponsor Windex? Do you know how Windex is good though? It doesn't leave the streaks like the cheaper brands. Okay, Do you know any good worksheets for practicing with? I have worksheets for all of my live streams. You can get them on Patreon. This lesson also has a worksheet on Patreon right now. So other than that, I don't really know any other worksheets. I make my own, but yeah, sorry. Someone said, Chazart, Filipino. Can you speak that? No, I don't speak any Filipino. You mean Tagalog? I don't speak any Tagalog. I think my friend Abby told me a few phrases. I can't remember any of them. I can't remember. Anyway, there's some little phrases I've heard before, but I can't remember anything. I've never studied before. Ekimilmini Lois. Sorry, I can't pronounce your name. I just did a full live stream about Unica last week, so I definitely recommend check that out, as well as this live stream, which is all about Saul. Thank you so much. Just reading your comments. Rokoro, also, I have a video about Itamyan and Isumyan. I did a live stream. Hold on, let me link that here. In the Google document I linked, which should come up in a second, you can see I did a lesson about like tamyan and umyan. It's in the lesson about how to say if and when. So I talk about how to do that. The main difference, if you just want a really quick answer, is the tamyan form, or it could be lamyan. The tamyan form is a stronger if. So it's like if versus just if. So it's assuming, maybe not, but if is the tamyan form. Chewy says, who's your twice bias? Sana? Yeah, the Google Doc, the document I just posted has all of the live streams I've ever done with all of the worksheets, all of the outlines, all of the full versions and abridged versions, all of the topics covered as well, the date, and links to everything. Okay. One more question. It's almost time. I gotta go. Kate Silver, can you speak Italian? Ciao. No, but I learned some French, so I figure if I have a few extra minutes, maybe I could also grab Italian. No, I'm joking. No, I don't know any Italian except, the stuff like ciao, regular stuff that every American knows. Spaghetti, all that stuff. Yeah, just the stereotypical Italian I know, like Americans know, but no, I don't know any. Jackie, thanks for always being generous with your lessons. For you and your family, I wish all of you good things and happiness in the new year. 새해 복 많이 받으세요. Oh yeah, that's good. 새해 복 많이 받으세요, everyone. Tell your Korean friends, 새해 복 많이 받으세요. Let me write it down. If you have Korean friends, tell them this weekend. 새해 복 means new year blessings or good luck. 많이, a lot. 받으세요, literally get. So get a lot of blessings or good luck for the new year. So happy new year. 새해 복 많이 받으세요. 새해 복 많이 받으세요. Tell your Korean friends this. Actually, if they're your friends, instead of 받으세요, you can say 받아요. Or if they're really close and they're younger than you, 받아. Otherwise, don't do that because it'll sound a bit rude if they're older than you and you're not super close with them to suddenly start using casual speech. But yeah, 새해 복 많이 받으세요. Say this to all of your friends today. They'll like it. I just remembered I should tell my Korean friends that too because I haven't told them yet. I told them already for the new year, but now it's going to be the Chinese New Year coming up, the Lunar New Year, I should say. Yes, it's going to be the year of I think it's the year of the tiger. It's my time to shine. Sakura says, do you have any Hanja videos? Yes. A little bit. In my Korean FAQ series, there are a few. It's only the ones I feel are like extremely important I've made videos about so far. I'll make a few more. I have plans to make a few more because people seem to really like them. But don't expect a full separate series about Hanja because I'm not the Hanja master. I just know the standard Hanja that Koreans know. I'm not like a historian about Hanja or anything like that. So I know how it's used in Korean, which ones Koreans know and, you know, how to interpret them and what words they're used with and all that. But, you know, I'm not going to be like, I know a lot more about Korean grammar and just using them in Korean than I do specifically about how to write them. My writing's also not very nice. So you won't see too many videos about it, but I will do some more. Arigatou gozaimasu. Yes. Okay. All right, everyone. Thank you for coming. I'll stop the lesson here. Thank you again. And I will see you next week. 그럼 다음에 또 봐.